So this is the Light Bar in Shoreditch. We're right in the heart of East London. This is an old Victorian warehouse power station that used to create electricity to light the electric lights in Liverpool Street Station. So this building was generating electricity for the local area since about the 1890s to the mid-1900s. But by about the late 1900s, 1990s onwards, it became kind of derelict and redundant. Come the early 2000s, it was reopened as a bar and restaurant, and actually I used to live around the corner on Great Eastern Street and used to come here a lot in the mid-2000s and have a good drink. That yard over there was pretty heaving in the summer, and inside it was like a nightclub really, it was awesome. It eventually closed down in the late 2000s because this development we're in here threatened its closure and demolition. But this amazing community action group, Open Shoreditch, rose up and tried to protect the Light Bar. Tracy Emin, the famous artist, got involved. Suggs, the singer from Madness, got involved. And they eventually saved the building from a demolition. The developer, Hammerson's, saw actually how much of a benefit this bar could be to the local community. And they redesigned the master plan. And eventually the 50-story tower that was going to be there is actually now here. It's a 50-story residential apartment building right in the heart of Shoreditch, towering over the Light Bar. But the Light Bar is still here. The building's split over these 4 bays on this elevation, and it's got this amazing height. It's 6 meters inside on the ground floor, so it's got this really lovely proportion to each bay, and you'll see what that looks like when we go inside. So this is the Shoreditch High Street elevation, and as you can see there are 5 bays on this elevation, and this one in the middle, obviously the biggest one, was where all the equipment would have come up here and been transported inside the building. There's actually a manually operated crane that's still here from the 1890s, when the big engines would have been carried up and positioned inside. So the Light Bar is about to open this spring, summer, but we're really lucky because we get to see inside before anybody else. A little sneak peek into what they've done on the inside. So this is the main engine room, where all the big equipment would have been held inside the building. This crane above us is actually what I was talking about outside. So the big equipment would have been hoiked up from the outside and then hoisted along this crane, and then actually moves in both directions. It was a manually operated crane, so it would have had some kind of pulley system on chains. It's quite a stunning bit of equipment. The rest of this space is also quite beautiful. So you can see the volume in here, it's about 6 meters tall. These are the original kind of wrought iron columns, some amazing pine floorboards above us, and the original concrete floor where all the equipment would have sat. Just wanted to come over here and show you the brick walls as well. These are amazing glazed white bricks. Stunning, really. And actually they would have just been done for utilitarian reasons, to be able to clean off this brickwork easily, because this would have been a dirty, oily place. It was full of engines churning out smoke and dust. And then the rest of this, the beautiful London red stock brick that just sort of lends this space this really handsome, honest feeling. So the way this space is arranged is they've got the ground floor engine room. They've actually put in a new mezzanine up there, and it's called the Copper Bar. We're going to check that out in a second. And then the original first floor is now the loft bar. It's got these amazing roof lights over it. Let's go up and check it out. So this whole staircase is new. It's quite nice, and timber and brass detailing. So this is the new mezzanine level they've put in, and you get this amazing view from up here looking down over the bar, and that's basically where I was in the mid-2000s when I used to come in here drinking. The atmosphere was crazy. And actually this used to be one big space, so this mezzanine wasn't here before, and I think there was a staircase over in this corner that brought you up. But what's great about this mezzanine now is you get really up and close and personal to the architecture and some of this machinery, this crane that moves about the space and the wrought iron columns, and you can almost touch the pine ceiling. This building actually had a nickname. It was called the Great Eastern Light. And that's because it's generating electricity for the whole part of East London. And Shoreditch, in fact, adopted as its motto, more light, more power. Because as industry grew, everybody needed more light and more power. Really like that. I think it has something interesting. I just wanted to look at this wall over here, because this used to be the boiler house, and on top of that, there would have been a terrace for the first floor. And they've moved the whole wall forward. They've managed to retain some really interesting features. So there's this wonderful circular opening that would have connected the two buildings previously, and it's reinstated here as a window, which is great. And there's some really interesting remnants of bits of architecture and structure, like this corbel and limestone, that would have continued up and supported the rest of the roof and the floor. And actually there was a roof terrace that was accessed from the loft floor previously to go out onto that roof. It's no longer there, sadly, but the timber loft is, and we're going to check that out now. So this is the original first floor of the building that would have been used to house those giant batteries that restored the electricity that was generated from downstairs in the engine room. In the late 90s, this was actually used as a carpentry workshop. And I guess one of the things to say about this space, first of all, is flooded with natural light. I mean, what a beautiful space to work in. It's got the most amazing crystal windows surrounding the space and the beautiful roof lights above that really just kind of flood this space with light. The flooring they've just put in is reclaimed from an old gym floor. It's quite beautiful. The columns here are original, obviously, and they're in this amazing wrought iron, and the timber structure above, original from the 1890s, survived all this time. I'm so glad there was a community campaign to save this place. It's such a beautiful example of industrial architecture, and it's got some wonderful heritage elements to it. The exposed brickwork, the wrought iron columns, and these amazing examples of bits of engineering kit from 1890s. I'm really glad that people that used to come here in the 2000s like me will be able to come here again, and that some people will be discovering this place for the first time. So I just want to say thank you to Morten Jensen for letting us have access in here and giving us a privileged sneak peek. And I can't wait for you guys to see it when it opens its door later this summer.